I'm in Fauquier County, Virginia, near Warrenton, and this is a 200-acre preserve called Riverside Preserve. There's the information sign. There's a road coming up. There's the Gray Ghost. And there's 3 different trails that I'm going to hike down this way, closer to the river. This is a low elevation, about 440 feet, so I'm not going to call out any elevations. .2 miles into my hike. This is the second parking area. This is down by the river. So we're going to continue on through that field over there to the right. Walnuts laying on the ground, and there's the walnut tree right there. A pretty good size one. Oh, here's some still on the tree. Let me see if I can get them in the picture. There's a couple right there. 2, 3, a few more up there. Looks like most of them have come off the tree though. .5 miles into my hike. I'm at my waypoint RP1. I'm going to turn to the right and head that way and go into the woods. This is where I came from. In spite of that hill you see right there, the rest of it's fairly flat. It's basically bottom land next to the Rappahannock. So I'm going to continue hiking counterclockwise, and I will come back this way, well, from that direction. So for now we're going to turn right and we're going to head into the woods, and we're going to go up and around in a big loop and come back over this way. .9 miles into my hike. This area is a little hard to follow the trail because there's a four-way intersection here. Now this tree has this mark around it. They should probably come in here and blaze these trails, but anyway, let's see. That's the way I came from, and when you come up here, my GPS is suggesting that maybe I should turn left here, and it's about a quarter of a mile to down this way to my waypoint RP2. That looks like a road that came up through here and used to go down this way. See that? That heads on down that way. Now they piled a whole bunch of stuff here so people won't go that way. But your choices are to keep going straight or turn left and head down this way. So I don't know, I'm going to go this way for a while to take me around the perimeter maybe. If I end up walking out of the preserve, I'll have to come back to this point. Okay, so I just went straight through that intersection, and the trail kind of loops back around to the left, and now I'm headed back towards the river, which is the way I want to go. So it looks like either one of those turns will get you back towards the river. I'm continuing to descend on this road down towards the Rappahannock River. Right over there is a drainage feeder that runs down to the river. So I'm on a road that's just slightly to the west of that little feeder stream. .2 miles into my hike. I am almost to my RP2 waypoint, not quite, but almost there. And this is the first view that I've had of the Rappahannock River. So, and from the looks of it, of this beaten path here, I'd say people take advantage of that little shore right there. This is one of the few areas that has public access to the river. That's looking upstream, up the Rappahannock River. .6 miles into my hike. That's where I came from. The river's down that way, and I'm getting ready to cross over this little creek on this bridge. And once I cross over and get over there into that clearing over there, I will have completed the loop here on the west side. And so then I'm gonna completed half of the riparian loop down there in the bottomland. I'm gonna loop back on the other half of that trail, and then that'll be the second loop completed, and then we'll have to cross over another bridge to get over to the third loop. Two miles into my hike, I'm at the landing. I'll get some pictures from down there near the water. It's a picnic table here, and since the last time I was here, they put in this nice set of stairs going down. So you could put in a canoe here if you want. The other side of the river, though, is private property. And I'll try and remember to show a chart. I think the next, if you put in here, I think the next downstream public access from here is like 19 miles downstream. So yeah, good luck with that. Anyway, that's where I came from. And once I get some shots of the river down there, I'm gonna loop back towards the second parking lot, and then we're gonna go over here and hike on the east side. There's a loop over here also. But first, let's go down here and get some shots of the river. Here's a shot of the river. Very, very little water flowing right now. We've had very dry conditions here. Up in Shenandoah Park, they've closed all the streams to fishing until the rains come back. See, look at this. Look at this dry bank right here. There's the trail up there. Very, very little water in the river right now. .2 miles into my hike. I just looped back to the second parking lot there where those people are standing, and then I came on down here, and here's a second loop. This is on the east side. This is east of that parking lot. Another section of bottomland here by the river. So I'm going to hike this loop. I'm going to go this way and hike counterclockwise, come back this way, and then I'm going to turn and head up this loop, which is the final loop, and this will eventually loop me back to my car. So let's head towards the river this way. .3 miles into my hike. I'm as far east as I'm going to be able to hike. This is the edge of the property. Right down there, maybe you can see the glistening of the water, the river. So I'm going to loop back this way, back over there, and then I'm going to start heading uphill on that final road to loop me back to my car. This is a map of today's hike. I'm not using a quadrangle map because the trails on this preserve area are not shown on there on the quadrangle map. This is a map that I got off the Riverside Preserve website. This is in Fauquier County. It's relatively new. It's just a few years old. It was almost 200 acres that was donated back in 2019 to the county. And it has a riverfront property. This is the Rappahannock River running down through here. So this is one of the few areas in Fauquier County that has public access to the Rappahannock River. The entrance is up here. If you plug this street address into your GPS, it'll bring you here. You come up a fairly steep gravel road, and then there's two parking areas. This is a gravel road right here. I parked right here. And then if you continue on down the hill to the bottom land down here near the river, there's another parking area right here. So in my video, I call this parking area 1 and I call this parking area 2. So I parked here, came down the gravel road to here, turned right, and then there's there's basically 3 loops. There's this loop here, they call it the riparian ramble. This loop here is in a forest. They call this the beech tulip poplar forest loop. And then this loop here is the gravel road coming in plus this old road, which is called the Blueberry Spicebush Trail. So I came down to here, turned right, and then this is relatively open bottomland here along the river. Came down here to this point 1 and turned right and went into the woods. Started climbing the hill here and following this around back down to the river to here. Now right here where there's this bend in the road, you can either go straight through here and curve around like this, or there's another road that comes down like this. So when you get to this spot up here where you have to make a decision which way to go, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I went this way down to point 2. Then you start seeing the river. Follow that back to here. Then you have to cross over a little bridge. This is back to my point 1. Then I started hiking this area and completing this part of the riparian ramble to here. And then this is the landing where they have the steps and you can launch kayaks or canoes here. Now, there was hardly any water in the river at all. It's been very dry here recently. So, but the water level in the Rappahannock, this high up, it varies from practically nothing to, fairly heavy flows right after a rainfall. Came back up to the second parking lot, went through a gate here, and then completed this part of the riparian ramble, and then turned right and headed up the hill along this old road to here, and then back down to my car. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, let me switch to a different map here. Well, it's not a map, it's a table of mileage. Here's the Riverside Preserve. Now, these are areas where you can get into the river and get out of the river with public access. Now, if you put in at Riverside Preserve where I hiked, that the next place you can get out that's on public land is Remington, Virginia. That's 19.7 river miles downstream from here. So, yeah, you can put in and take out, but you've got quite a ways to go before you can get out on public land. Pretty short hike. It was 3 miles and the elevation was 370 feet. And that's the hike for today.